pressures come from inside. We call them limiting beliefs. I work with people as a coach all the time. And one of my roles for them is to help them identify what their limiting belief is that keeps them from stepping into their own personal authenticity. Because unless you face the giant of your limiting belief, you cannot be successful in life. The giants will always win the day. What are your limiting beliefs? I'll tell you what my limiting belief was. I grew up as a kid with this belief, and I wrestle with it as an adult. My limiting belief is basically stated this way: I am not powerful or capable enough. I have to tell you, that is one of my Goliaths. That is a limiting belief that unless I face squarely, I cannot overcome it. And by facing squarely, it is by saying, so, who am I really? What is my empowering belief that speaks the truth about Greg Nelson? Until I understand that, then every little storm that blows along, I will cave. It's the way it works. So sometimes it takes a crisis to knock us off our pedestals, to really understand who we are. The fact that we've been putting our faith in someone else's armor, not our own armor. And I tell you, you feel the pushback, don't you? Our systems of the world have great pushback when someone chooses authenticity over conforming. Right? Our own limiting beliefs. Then you have other systems of the world, our employers. In fact, I read a recent study in the Harvard Business Review that said that the percentage of people who say, I cannot be myself at work ever, is 70 to 80% of workers in America. In other words, authenticity does not serve them well, is their fear. Or the system does not allow them to show up and be themselves, so everybody's trying to be something else, squeezing into the mold. 3 things to keep in mind when you are faced with a choice: shall I be who I am or shall I be somebody else? That's the choice of authenticity versus inauthenticity. 3 simple things. Number 1, don't shrink. For some of us, the biggest battle is that we try to be too small. We're afraid that if we become bigger, if we really manifest who we are, we'll get criticized. Maybe we got criticized when we were young for overextending ourselves, so it was interpreted by our parents or other authority figures. So we learned that if I'm going to make it in this world, I must shrink and be smaller. Does this make sense? That's based on fear, right? If I'm really who I am and I express myself and I take up more space in the world than what people think I should, then I'm going to get nailed for that. And so therefore, let me get smaller, smaller, smaller. So some of us are walking around way too small. Number 2, the other side. For some of us, we puff up. We get too big. That's also motivated by fear, right? Because we're afraid that we don't know who, if we manifest our true selves, then we won't get accepted for that. So we get aggressive. We become bullies. We're too big. And we go around making everybody else feel smaller. That's the opposite side of the same coin. God is a human being fully alive. That means the fullness of my capacity, not more and not less. And how do we do it? That's the number 3. Stand on your sacred ground. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am saying that choosing authenticity is synonymous with standing on your sacred ground.